So these are sequences, and this time they're giving us an expression that is supposed to produce a sequence. So find the first four terms of a sequence. N squared minus 1. The n is the one that's going to be replaced with a number, like 1, 2, 3, the counting numbers. So n squared minus 1 will produce the terms. So you let n equal 1, you plug it in, simplify, you get a 0. Then let n equal 2, plug it in, substitute, you get a 3. Now let n equal 3, plug it in, and you get an 8. And finally, we're going to create the fourth term by plugging in n equal 4 for the n. 4 squared is 16 minus 1 is 15. So the first four terms of the sequence generated by this expression are 0, 3, 8, and 15. This is the most famous sequence, Fibonacci sequence. And it's special because to come up with the terms, you add the previous two terms. The previous two terms added gives the next term. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 8 is 13. And you continue. Suppose you don't have an arithmetic sequence, it's not a geometric sequence, it's not a Fibonacci sequence, and you're wondering what the sequence is going to do. For example, this went 5, 6, 14, 29, 51, 80. What would be the next sequence number? But this one doesn't fit the description of arithmetic or geometric or Fibonacci, so how do you attempt to find a pattern so you could predict what the next term will be? So what you do is you use a method we call differences. So just subtract two numbers at a time from left to right. Or if you like, how far apart are these? These are 1 apart. How far apart is 6 and 14? 8. Or you could say 29 minus 14 is 15. 51 minus 29 is 22. 80 minus 51 equals 29. And you say, well, what do I do now? What am I supposed to do with those numbers? Well, now you take it to the next level. Do the same thing. 8 minus 1 is 7. 15 minus 8 is 7. 22 minus 15 is 7. And 29 minus 22 is 7. So if you notice, the second sequence, the second level, lower level, to get from 1 to 8, 8 to 15, 15 to 22, 22 to 29, you had to add the same number. So the second level sequence is arithmetic. So once you get an arithmetic sequence, now you're going to start going up. So since you know that this lower sequence is separated by 7, you know that the 29, you're going to add 7 to get the next one, the next term. And that term is what you're going to add to the 80 to get the one that's missing. So here it is, we continue. So since this is arithmetic, we're going to be adding the same number to get the next one. So this helps us get the next one, which is 36. And the 36 is the distance between 80 and this term that was missing. So you go 80 plus 36 gives you this next term. So using differences is a technique when you can identify the sequence in order to predict another term. There's other types of sequences. These are called figurate numbers. So figure, because they're going to give you a figure, has dots. It could be a triangle, a square, a rectangle. This one's a triangle. So in the first position, it has 1 dot. In the second position, it has 3 dots. In the third position, there's 6 dots. And then in the fourth position, the triangle has 10 dots. So how many dots should the next one have? Well, we should try to figure out how we're going from one term to the other, right? These are triangular numbers. So how many dots should this triangle, the fifth triangle, have is a question. Let's see. So the number of dots forms the sequence. So notice, now I'm not going to draw the triangles, but if you go back to the triangles, the first triangle has 1 dot, the second one has 3 dots, and the third 6 dots, and so forth. So now what you do is you just line up the number of dots and apply the difference method, what we did in the previous problem. And you keep subtracting and going from one level to the other until you have one level that has the numbers the same. Once you have the numbers the same, the fifth triangle has 15 dots, you're going to start going up. So the next term in the second sequence should be a 6. So what you do is you add the last number you had in the first sequence times that number, and that gives you the next number. So the fifth triangle has 50 dots. Notice 10 plus 5 is 15. And this 5, well, we added a 1 to the 4. So we pass the information up until we get it to where we need it. Once you reach a fixed number, the sequence is arithmetic, and it tells you should start going up.